Good afternoon on this Friday. Wow. You know, there's an old anecdote that says the story that when God was giving out the country to the different nations and he was giving Israel a country, the angels were there. And one angel is watching and the next, and God turns to the angels and says, I'm giving this country to the people of Israel. I'm giving it to the Jewish people. It has luscious fields. It has beautiful mountains. It has a great climate. It is in a beautiful area. The fruits are delicious. And finally, one angel pipes up to God and says, God, why are you giving this all to one people? Why don't you share the wealth? And God looks at the angel and he says, relax. Wait till you see the neighbors I'm giving them. How true, how funny, but how sad. Israel is surrounded by neighbors that want to annihilate it. Country after country. In Syria, you have Syrians. In Lebanon, you have Hezbollah. In the West Bank, you have the terrorists from Hamas. You have Hamas. You have the Houthis, you have the Iraqis, you have the Iranians, and the list goes on. Yet, somehow, and remarkably, we've survived and we continue to thrive. We just heard this morning the remarkable news that the second in command in Hezbollah, Kabir I think was his name, Muhammad, I don't even know his name, but Ibrahim something I think, he was eliminated by Israel. He took over when Israel killed the other second in command. He sits on the elite group of Hezbollah terrorists. And he was the head of the Radwan forces. Who are the Radwan forces? The Radwan forces are about 2,500 elite Hezbollah fighters with one mission. Their sole purpose is to infiltrate into Israel and kill as many Jews as they can. That's their sole purpose. And this head of the Radwan was injured by his pager a few days ago. He was in the hospital and he was released. But where did they went? They went to Daria. Daria is in a civilized population of Lebanon. And they went underground in a bunker, but on top of them was a civilian building full of civilians. And there he met with the elite Radwan group, 20 of them. And Israel had intelligence that they were there. The 20 top people of this group that wants to kill Israelis and infiltrate into Israel. And Israel sent a missile into the bunker and eliminated 20 people. This is the greatest news that could happen. Think about targeted attack. And the building has now been evacuated and it's going to fall, but the people got out. But here you had these 20 top Radwan terrorists who were eliminated by Israel with one goal and one purpose. They had to kill Jews, kill Israelis. And Israel targeted them and got them killed under a civilian building. They were in a bunker. Israel had the intelligence, but what cowards are they? The IDF is remarkable. The Shabak, the Mossad, what we witnessed this week in the beginning of the war against Hezbollah, which is probably our most dangerous neighbor and proxy of Iran at this point. But I want to share something from the portion and connect it. You know, in this week's Torah portion, we read the beginning of the Bikurim, the mitzvah of bringing the basket of the first fruit of harvest to Jerusalem. And we would say a prayer of gratitude to Almighty. And then at the end we would say, God, I did everything you commanded me. I didn't transgress any of the details of this commandment. And then we turn to God and we say, look down from heaven at your people. Bless your people. And the rabbis say that what the person bringing the harvest is saying, look, I brought my first harvest. I took care of your people. I took care of the Levite. I took care of the Kohen. I took care of the poor, of the destitute. Now, God, it's your turn. Look back at your people and do for us. But interestingly, it's the only mitzvah in the Torah where we turn to God and we say, I did whatever you told me to, now you do yours. We don't find that about any other mitzvah. Why? And the rabbis say something remarkable. That only after a Jew tells God, look what I did for another Jew. Look how I looked out for someone else. Look at the kindness I showed. Look at the care I gave to another fellow Jew. Then we turn to God, and only then could we demand and say, God, you do the same. Look after our people. And that's why it's only at the mitzvah of Bikurim, when we took our first harvest and we brought it to the Kohen, to the Levite, to the poor, to the desert, we say, God, now, Hashkifa mimayin kachecha, look up from your heavenly abode. And in fact, the rabbis tell us that usually the word Hashkifa comes with a negative connotation. But here, it comes with a positive connotation. If you go to shul tomorrow and you listen to the Torah reader, you'll listen that when he comes to the words Hashkifa, he'll go louder. And he'll say it in a loud voice, beckoning God to bless his people. I look with awe and trepidation and inspiration at these heroic people of the IDF, the soldiers, the generals, the Mossad, the Shabak, those that work behind and in front of doors, those that risk their lives and those that don't. Today another soldier was critically injured on the border of Lebanon, fighting to protect Israel's border, where 10 million people and 8 million Jews live, who they want to annihilate, where 100,000 Jews are away from their home. And we have to turn to God and say, God, we did all you asked. If it's beepers and pagers, or if it's killing the 20 top elite unit of Radwan, terrorists of Hezbollah, we're trying everything we could to protect your people. Hashkifa mimayin kachecha min hashamayim, look down from your heavenly abode. Uvarech es amcha Yisrael, and bless your people Israel. There's 1 million Jews in the northern Israel that are keeping on to be told in the last 2 days to stay next to a bunker, the whole time next to a shelter, so in case they have to go under, and they're warned to take food for long periods of time. We have done what we could. The Israeli army, the intelligence, the soldiers, the IDF, the Air Force, the Navy are doing the most remarkable work, of course with the blessings of Hashem. And now we turn to God and we say, Hashkifa mimayin kachecha min hashamayim, look from your heavenly abode and bless the people of Israel. I want to just say one more thing, because in my video a couple days ago there was a lot of comments, especially from people all over the Middle East, and some of them were questioning, are we celebrating the death of innocent civilians? And I want to be unequivocally clear. Every time an innocent civilian is killed, no matter if they're Jew or Arab, Israeli or Palestinian, it pains each and every one of us. We recognize that it's a part of the war, and that as painful as it is, we're trying to stop the annihilation of the Jewish people, and sometimes there's casualties. But we yearn and pray for a day of peace with all of our neighbors. And we turn especially to the Lebanese people, who have one of the most beautiful countries, that have been overtaken by Hezbollah. Let's not forget that since 2004, Hezbollah has killed some of the top political leaders in Lebanon, because they want to run Lebanon as a terror group, not as a country that's gorgeous, that's thriving, that has so much potential. You go back to the prophets, you read about Tyre in Lebanon. It was a center of gravity for all commerce and things that went with it. And look what it is today. Look at the opportunity it has. If we got rid of Hezbollah, the terror group that's only a proxy of Iran, that Iran only put there because they want to fight Israel and they want to destabilize the region. The same Iran that funded the Houthi terrorists, the break-off, only to fight Saudi Arabia and anyone that wants to de-radicalize the region. So we send out our hand in peace. Not just our hand, but we've tried so much times, and we try again, and we will never give up. But for now, we will fight and kill all the Radwan terrorists and all those that want to annihilate Israel. And I'll finish with this last word as we go into Shabbos. Utzu eitz of Isufar, dabru davar v'lo yakum ki imanu kel. They devise devices to kill the Jewish people, and they have all these plans, but they'll never succeed because God is with you. God bless you and Shabbat Shalom.